watches us too. She watches like every episode, and I was telling her she was working with me today.
Hello, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
We're
and I
not
was
starting
telling
yet,
her
but
that we were filming an episode today. She was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait." And she was saying how she likes when we do our slow-mo cheers in our intro.
I do too.
Yeah. Does my makeup look really bad because I just took my glasses off? Like right here?
No, you're good.
It's fine.
And I don't think anybody's going to notice it.
Okay, cool.
And if they do, thanks for noticing.
Fuck you. That's what I have to say.
Oh.
Alright, should we cheers?
Yeah.
To start out?
Yes.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
My pinky's
Pinky
not...
up.
Oh.
Pinky up.
I'm trying to get my pinky higher.
Is mine higher?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll move up higher on the glass. Okay, I'm gonna drop it. Alright.
Yeah. It's delicious.
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 Alright.
Alright.
Alright. Welcome back, guys, to
Spill the beans.
Yeah, with Jordan and Kellie.
I'm Kellie.
I'm Jordan.
How's it going?
You know that would actually still work if we swap names, because Kellie
true.
was originally a guy's name, and Jordan. There's a girl's named Jordan.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true. I'm Jordan.
I'm Kellie. Welcome back to our podcast.
Welcome back.
This is gonna be episode 7.
7.
I know, it's so exciting. Soon we'll be on episode 10, then episode 20, and episode 21.
Oh boy. We're on a roll.
We are on a roll.
Butter and jam.
I love, you know what I love is like crescent rolls.
Crescent.
I wish we had crescent rolls.
If there
right
wasn't
now.
a chair here,
I
I'd be
have
on the floor
Pillsbury
screaming for
cookies.
one.
I have Pillsbury cookie dough in the fridge. We can make that before you leave if you want.
Oh.
You know those cookies with like the pictures on them? Yeah, I got like the spooky ghost ones. And then they have Scooby-Doo ones this year for Halloween.
Scooby-Doo's the shit.
Yeah, I love Scooby-Doo.
Where are you?
Where am I? What do you mean?
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, duh. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Anyway, so today's episode, we were struggling to not really struggling, but we were like, what should we do it on? We should do it on this. We should do it on that. Blah 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 blah. And then I talked to Uncle Chris.
Uncle Chris,
who is
what's up,
the
man?
uncle of CJ and Amy. And I was talking to him, and he was like, dude, you should do the Bohemian Grove.
And we were
and I was like,
that's a great idea.
That's perfect.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing it on today. The Bohemian
Grove. Bohemian.
Well, to start off, we should probably...
Let's start off. So I wanted to start off with a little Epstein update.
Yes.
For those of you that haven't been following the case very closely. So, the whole case against him got thrown out, ended because he died. And I guess it's against the law to try someone after they're dead. Or at least I think it is. I think that's why the case got thrown out. Either way, it's donezo.
Any legal experts out there?
Yeah, let us know.
Tell us what's up.
But, so, in other, like, kind of information related to everything that happened with Epstein, so that girl Virginia Roberts that we talked about on our Epstein episode, she has brought forth a case against Alan Dershowitz, who is a lawyer, and I think he was a former professor at Harvard Law. I know he was a professor at Harvard Law. I don't know if he's still. I know. I don't know if he's Dershowitz. I don't know if he's still teaching there, but I don't think so. But yeah, he's claiming that basically all these allegations are false. And it's past the statute of limitations, so it should just be thrown out.
Yeah.
And a judge is still trying to decide whether or not they want to throw the case out or if they want to move forward with it.
Move forward.
Yeah, move forward. Especially, it sucks because, like, nothing can get really done about Epstein. So I think a lot of his victims are now going to go after some of the other people that are involved. Like this girl to... I don't know, get something done about it. It's so ridiculous. So many people.
It's like just because he's not around anymore, which has also been kind of like questioned because of
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's actually dead or not. Because he could potentially be put into either, maybe not the witness protection program, but like a different version of that for like the fucking elite.
The people who got, whoever they are, got pictures of him coming out, you know, of the prison on his little gurney thing.
Yeah, and it didn't really look like him.
Which is kind of weird because you would think that, like, a picture like that, like, normally when you come out, like, you're covered.
Like, zipped up, yeah. Like,
yes,
in a body bag, you're zipped up.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
so that is actually pretty weird that they would allow his face to be shown.
Unless
like,
somebody
to let
was,
people take
I don't
pictures.
know, it's just weird. But they, like, his nose is different and, like, his ears are different.
No, that's actually a really good point. I didn't even think of that because it's like, it's almost like they want people to see, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I was thinking. I mean, if someone is in wherever they are and they die, that's how they get. They don't get just brought.
Yeah, brought out like dead for the world to see. Especially
that
someone
doesn't
like
happen.
Super famous like that and very well known. That's you're right. That is really weird.
So getting that photo, maybe that was just like an autopsy type of photo. Maybe somebody, you know. People take pictures wherever they can take pictures.
I know, and
things can be fabricated. Yeah, it's terrible, but it's also like from my point of view, I'm like interested.
Yeah, because it's like, what if it's not actually him?
Especially what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
But do you have any more updates?
Just like one other thing. So this is kind of interesting. So there's this ex-Florida cop named John Dugan, and he was actually working in the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office around the same time that Epstein was living in Palm Beach, and he wound up quitting in 2009 after basically claiming his coworkers were taking part in like child molestation websites and kind of like sex trafficking and stuff. And he actually fled to Moscow in 2016 and was granted asylum, which I feel like not a lot of people are granted asylum unless it's actually like for something legit.
Have to be granted by asylum from like
the government.
President?
Yeah, I think so. Like by the government. So basically he is an he's like a former hacker, and he's claiming that he has evidence against Prince Andrew. That relates to all the stuff with Epstein.
Well, all his like computers and everything electronic from any one of his houses or his apartment in Paris, like that place.
Yep. Yeah, that's being raided.
That's everything's being raided.
But he basically claims that he has backups of these files and pictures. But he's not, like, people are like, well, why haven't you released him? And he's basically keeping them secret to keep himself safe. To keep himself and his family safe, because it's basically like a backup for him. So, like, if anything were to happen to him, he basically has it set up that these files will be released. So it's basically like...
It's like another blackmail.
Yeah, it kind of is to, like, keep himself from being, you know, off.
He wasn't friends with Epstein, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was a police officer. And he probably knew of what was going on. Because wasn't Epstein arrested in 2008 in Palm Beach? Around that time? He quit in 2009.
Oh.
So he must have known all about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so... Yeah, I think but he claims that the FBI is covering all this stuff up with Prince Andrew, which I think is a totally legitimate
but
claim.
There's like a shit
totally
ton
happen.
more going on.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's pretty much it on stuff with Epstein.
Yeah, there's so many people.
And there's just going to be more and more stuff that comes out now that they're, like, raiding Paris and...
Let's just put it this way. It's a big-ass rug, and they lifted it up, and there's a lot under it.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think he's dead. So, I don't know if anything will ever really get done about it, but, apparently, too, I think, like, someone's trying to, like, some, like, network is trying to create, like, a mini-series based on all this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
they are.
That'll be interesting. I'll probably watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it. They got me again. But yeah, I guess that's all the that's all the updates for the whole Epstein thing.
Yeah. I mean, definitely if you're more interested in it, definitely do research because there's so much out there. There's too much for us to really cover. Especially in an episode that's not about Epstein.
I just don't want to search for him and be on the first page. I want to be like, I need to look at like further down, because
Yeah.
the deeper you go, the more unknown there is, and there's stuff you might, you know, come across that you're
I
like,
know.
what?
Yeah, I feel like too.
Did
I don't
wanna know
really
that?
think. I don't really think any hard evidence is ever really gonna come forward, because I think a
No.
lot of people in power will be incriminated if it does. So I think anything that does get found, I don't think it will
Yeah,
ever
but,
see the light of day.
Yeah, but they like should be.
Oh, it absolutely should
It should be
It should
incriminated.
be.
Like all these people that
Are terrible.
like this one,
Like Trump totally involved
Yeah.
with him.
this one stewardess or whatever was claiming that one time he got off a plane, and the girls that she saw, I mean, she didn't ask them
Yeah.
or do anything. She thought they looked like 12 or 13.
They probably were.
And 16.
Yeah.
And I'm just, oh boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that episode out again.
Yeah, the Epstein episode.
Watch it again.
Yep.
And
Get a nice overview of what a piece of shit he is.
piece of shit.
Seriously, POS.
Yes, not good. But as for the topic of the day, I feel like we just had like a one of those
little vent
news
sesh.
thing. It's like this just in,
Yeah.
or like update, or like any of that.
Update on Epstein. Boo-doo-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo.
Tiki, 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 tiki. But yeah, today's the Bohemian Grove,
Yep.
sponsored by wine and other alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
So the Bohemian, I don't know if you have the beginnings,
Kind of, yeah. Alright.
because it all started in 1872.
It all started in 1872.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bohemian Grove,
San Francisco.
really started out as the Bohemian Club.
Yep.
Which was founded in 1872 by...
It's only a fucking grove because it's in the forest now.
Yeah. By, what was it? I have Henry Edwards, but I think it was Harry Edwards. Like, Harry was his nickname from Henry? I don't know. And it was
Funny name.
originally compiled of artists and musicians.
Mhm.
And basically it just started out as kind of like a camping retreat for these, like, bohemian artists to get together, talk about art.
Bohemianism.
Yeah, create music, drink, and basically have a good time. It started out as almost like a going away party for this guy Henry Edwards, because he was like moving to New York, and he just wanted to kind of get all of his friends together, and then
And then it turned into something more.
and then it turned into something a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
And the next year they all got together again, minus Henry Edwards, and then they just
I feel like I should
kept
raise my
getting-
hand. Teacher,
Yeah.
call on me, teacher.
Jordan.
Oh, okay. What was I going to say? No. Bohemianism was popular in the 19th and early 20th century. So they were all following that. And Bohemians, they celebrated hedonism and overindulgences and rebelling against the conservative conventions of the culture. You know what?
And it's pretty...
I wrote it down, but I don't really know what it fucking means.
I mean, it pretty much just means, like, free spirits. Free-spirited artists.
Yeah.
That's basically what they were.
Plus the coolest thing about it was, artists, writers, and all that stuff. They were using these people, including these people who had money, to fund their fun.
Yeah, so over time, businessmen started to get involved, and they eventually just took over the thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Because think about it from the beginning of, being an artist and, having those fun times and, drinking and not giving a shit to what it's turned out to be now.
I know.
It's kind of insulting.
I know. Well, the thing is now, I think it's kind of like the opposite, whereas like these bohemian artists are like allowing businessmen to come into the club kind of to like help fund it, and now it's kind of flipped where the businessmen still allow some, like, they apparently really like musicians and stuff.
Well, they're
because
all
they
about
want
theater.
like and they want like entertainment,
Poems
so
and
they
shit.
still want like, so it's kind of flipped where the businessmen now run it and they allow some like artists to come in basically as like entertainment.
Do you know what the businessmen were labeled?
No, tell me.
They were labeled men of use.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And the artists created that, but they called themselves Men of Talent.
Nice.
So you got the Men of Talent,
and then the Men of
and
Use.
then the Men of Use, which are being used for, you know, paying
fund
for
the
it,
talent.
paying for it all.
Nice.
Yeah.
But so Bohemian Grove itself is a 2,700 acre compound.
Footing the bill.
And yeah, footing the bill. And it's in Monte Rio, California. And it's basically this big campground, essentially, based in like the Redwood Forest. And basically the rich, famous, and powerful meet up for a 2-week retreat, either in June or July. I think it's usually in July.
July.
Yeah.
Which is weird because my birthday's in July.
Are you
Gotta go.
part of this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go Bohemian Grove.
I go to Bohemian Grove every July. And I
All right, Jordan. Well, why
pee
don't you
all
tell
over
us
the place.
about it? Oh,
There's a lot of...
well then.
Apparently one of the big things in the Bohemian Grove is they drink and they party and they they just urinate a lot. It sounds
Nice.
It sounds funny to say, but they're just
Pretty gross.
peeing all over the place.
But so the motto of the club is "Weaving
weird.
spiders come not
Yes.
here," and it sounds a lot more sinister than it actually is. It actually just means that basically when all these people meet up, they don't want to talk about business. They don't want to talk about negotiations. Basically, leave all that behind. Like, they're just there to have a good time, man.
Basically,
Here to let loose,
Yeah,
party.
but you know,
They don't want to
if
like
it was-
deal with any of the
if it
pressures of
was
the outside
having
world.
good times, man, other stuff wouldn't be going on.
I know. I mean, this is, hey, I'm not part of it. This is what they claim.
No, but I'm interested in hell and learning about it.
And, yeah, so on the compound, I know it's broken down into different, like, campsites, basically. I think, like, one site's called the Hillbillies.
Yeah, it is.
There's a couple other names for some of the other sites. It honestly just kind of sounds like a big, like an adult summer camp
Yeah.
where they act
It's
like
a,
they're 12 years old.
pretty much.
Where
It's
all
like a
these like
fraternity.
politicians
They
and
wanna
like
be young
wealthy
again.
people just act like they're like 12 years old.
And a lot goes on.
Yeah.
And a lot is like, you know, what happens here stays here.
Exactly. No recording devices are allowed on the property. No video cameras. No cell phones. They
That's
have
why
to.
it's so damn hard to like, you know, get any of that footage.
Yeah, people
But-
have apparently, like, if they've been caught with cell phones, apparently they get like snapped and broken in front of them.
Didn't read that.
Yeah.
Didn't read.
I heard that on something. I didn't read it, but I heard it on something, which I wouldn't be surprised about if, like, you know, if and I get why no recording devices would be allowed. There's like all these famous people,
Oh, yeah.
politicians,
Yeah.
world leaders. It's
Yeah,
like
it's the 1%.
the 1%. It's like if they're doing some crazy shit or even just like acting like fools, they definitely don't want to be
Fool.
recorded.
But I asked Kelly earlier if she knew what the entrance fee was in 1887, and the entrance fee was $100 and then $3 a month.
It's not that today, although back then that was probably a good amount of money.
Oh yeah.
But now the entrance fee to join the club, the initiation fee is $25,000.
And that's if they let you.
And that's if they let you. So the wait list is 20 to 30 years to get into the club.
You basically have to pretty much wait for somebody to die.
Yeah, that's basically the word on the street. Word on the street is you gotta knock someone out in order to get in.
You gotta pop a cap in their ass.
Yeah.
And then you can start popping bottles.
Yep. But basically, it's a private all-male club.
Yeah.
No women are allowed.
Nope.
And up until, I don't know when this happened, but not that long ago, women weren't even allowed to work at the club, work on the compound.
No.
But there was a lawsuit that was filed against the Bohemian
Yes.
Grove, or the Bohemian Club.
Yeah, feminists
And
like started coming out of the woodwork and saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, why can't we go?"
Yeah.
You, like,
well, I think the thing is
They
too.
never started their own though. But they also like, I mean,
Yeah.
they could have started their own and like.
Well, I think the thing is
competed.
too that a lot of locals work in the area work there because it's a huge compound.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a lot of jobs are able to get funded there. So I'm sure there's like girls that live around there that want to get jobs too.
Wanna have fun.
And but so women are only allowed to work there in the kitchen and as valets.
Mm-hmm. And they're only allowed to go to a certain point because there's
that's
a
what
line.
he told me.
There's a line that was made that they can't go past.
Like they literally like drew a line.
Yeah, they made one.
But I think it's because, so apparently these guys are like getting drunk, they're acting crazy, and they're just
doing
like
some adult shenanigans.
Yeah, they're doing some adult shenanigans, and they just no girls allowed, basically.
You know what's really funny? I read a thing where somebody said it sounds more like Fred Flintstone and the Loyal Order of the Water Buffaloes. The whole, you never watched Fred Flintstone?
Not since I was like super little.
The Flintstones? But it's like the same concept. It's like that whole Hooters concept. It's like you're only going to be allowed to work there if you're a certain body type, or like the Bohemian Grove is like, okay, if you can pay this admitting fee, and people want you there, like you can go, and then it's
a lot of people that wind up getting to be members. A lot of it is through the family too.
Yeah.
A lot of it is kind of like almost like a passed on.
I read like Harvard related stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Harvard and
like
you have
bones.
like it all kind of comes from there, and like you get kind of
you basically gotta like know people,
somebody,
know someone
and
to
then have the monies.
Yeah. So it's private all male club.
Only a small part of the thing. The whole compound, only a small part of it is used as a retreat, though. Like, not the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of it's forest.
Yeah, it's redwood. It's redwood forests.
There's around 2,500 members, and waitlist is 20 to 30 years, pretty crazy. And other people are allowed on the compound. There's like certain times and certain days where they're allowed to like invite guests. But if you're not like an official member of the club, you have to leave. Like women and children, I think, are allowed basically up until as soon as it starts to get dark, and then they have to leave the compound. So it's not like women, other than the people that work there, aren't allowed there. They are. They're just not actual members.
It was also one of those things where after dark, they could also potentially choose what ladies they wanted to stay, like prostitution. And
it's probably not the wives. They probably like hire escorts and stuff.
No, it's not the wives. Wives aren't allowed.
Yeah.
It's escorts and other shady shit, kind of like the Epstein thing, though.
Yeah.
Bothersome.
I know.
Sucks. Because the whole child thing comes up, and then you're like, because nothing is recorded. Like you said.
It's super private.
Like they have these different areas, almost like
tents,
off the books. And they have, it's just like you don't know what goes on. What happens there stays there.
And I think that's the main issue people have with it is maybe it is nothing, but if it is like not that big of a deal, it's just all the secrecy behind it makes it seem so much worse than it actually is.
And I apologize if I'm not looking at you guys a lot. I am thinking like crazy over here. It's just like I have a lot of notes, and they're kind of like sporadic, and Kelly's more lined up over here.
A little bit. Yeah. I feel like I'm still talking all over the place.
Dude, I'm bouncing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like famous members that are in the club. All right. So I'll read mine and then you can read yours.
Okay.
So I have Ronald Reagan, Theodore Roosevelt. All mine are presidents. George Bush Sr. and Jr. and Nixon.
Okay. I have Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
You mentioned Nixon. Warner von Braun. Herbert.
That name's familiar.
Warner
von Braun.
I didn't look him up.
Hold on, I'm gonna look him up.
I just jotted his name down.
Because that name is so familiar.
Live research time.
Live research.
Also, Neil Armstrong.
Really?
Poof.
What if they like recorded like the moon landing there?
But
okay,
anyway.
So Warner von Braun. Yeah, there's actually a lot of. So he's a scientist. So he's an aerospace engineer and space architect.
Warner von Braun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way.
And there's actually a lot of scientists that were a part of Bohemian Club. The guy who created the atom bomb.
Oh, that dude. I have him.
Yep, he was part of Bohemian Grove.
I have to find them.
Bohemian Club.
Focus.
I know, it's interesting because I didn't really realize, I thought Bohemian Grove was the club before I did research. I didn't realize that it was called Bohemian Club and that Bohemian Grove was the compound. Like, I knew Bohemian Grove was the place, but I also figured that was the name of the club. But they also have, like, another club space, I think, in San Francisco or something like that. But it's not, like, it's not as crazy private as this is.
Exactly. They kind of made...
It's kind of like a function hall kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
they moved it. They moved it to rural. I always sound weird when I say that.
Rural.
But rural. It sounds like Scooby-Doo.
Rural?
Rural. But yeah, they moved it out there to be separate. They wanted to separate themselves from the city and go out into the woods.
The wilderness.
Go out to the woods. But yeah, there's been a lot of people who have tried to like sneak in there. I'll mention Alex Jones.
Yeah, they have security, but it's not like
you can't really.
Yeah, you can't really sneak in.
Very well.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really sneak in there either.
A couple people have.
Really? I know Alex Jones like kind of did, but he was also like a guest.
You know what he did? He went in there with a backpack.
Yeah.
And in his backpack was a video.
A camera.
He had a camera, which he cut out the side of his backpack, and he was.
I'm surprised they didn't find that.
But yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Well, you think whenever I don't know when he did it, but you think whenever he did it, what size the camcorder was, in the backpack, and like
that's true. Probably
looking at the lens and glare, probably could have hit it very well. So he got part of it, and it all kind of starts where at night these guys. That are like chosen, they have these like hoods on, and they walk through the forest leading. Yeah.
We want to talk about that? So
we can talk about that after we talk about people who have tried to sneak in and get. Have you watched any of the footage?
I haven't. The only person I've watched was Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was other footage.
Well, there are other people that have like photographed parts of the ceremony.
Damn. Oh yeah, you were showing me a couple pictures. For some reason it didn't occur to me that
there
was
are
someone
pictures
like
out there.
on.
If you research, the Bohemian Grove and pictures, you don't have any like I don't think there are any recent ones. Yeah. But you'll have a picture of like them all sitting there, and they're I mean they know their picture is being taken. Yeah. And it's during the day, and they're all sitting there. There's like a shit ton of them, and there's that other one with the picture of the like explosions or whatever, like celebration after the cremation of Care. Yeah. Yeah. So we can get into the like ceremony stuff. Yeah. Because you already went over weaving spiders come not here. Yep.
Yeah, so Alex Jones, he like snuck onto the compound, but on the video it kind of seems like he was it almost seems like he was friends with people that were invited. He was able he must have been invited somehow because he was like a guest.
Well, they have the big thing. They have the like, area, he was, like, they have the lake, and then across from that there's like bleachers and shit. Yeah. So I'm not sure if he was on the bleachers, but he said he snuck in, sneaking in.
But in the video, it starts out with him basically like him and like a couple of like the people that he was with basically meet up with like the security guards like outside the compound, and then you get on like a truck, kind of like an open truck, almost like if you were like kind of like a hayride kind of a thing.
Not like a sleazy one.
No.
Like ice cream and...
Oh, no, not like a creepy truck. It almost seems like it's like an open truck almost with... If I'm remembering correctly, I watched this like a couple of years ago. But it was like, I don't know, it was like a truck that they basically like bus everyone in so that way you don't just like walk onto the compound. They have to basically like check your credentials and stuff first.
Like a checkpoint.
Yeah, like a checkpoint. So there's a checkpoint, and then they're like bust in, and it almost and they're like talking to him. So he's like he's a guest. Yeah. And then I don't know if it was something where like he was allowed at the ceremony or if he stayed behind like after he was supposed to leave. I forget that. But he like was on the compound, I think, like, officially as a guest, because you hear him, like, you don't see the person, but at one point he's, like, in one of, like, the bunks or, like, the mess halls, like, where they eat food and stuff, one of the dining halls, and he's, like, talking to someone, and it's, like, totally normal.
Yeah, because his voice is kind of recognizable.
Yeah. But it's not like, well, this was before he even made it big. I think this was kind of one of the things that, like, yeah.
Because he's always investigated crap like that.
But he claims he, like, snuck onto the compound, and maybe he did. Maybe he, like, claimed to be someone else that he wasn't. I don't really know. The video's, like, a little confusing.
Oh, did you know, I was just reading my notes, and that Edward Teller dude, he was the father of the hydrogen bomb. Do you remember that guy? There was also groundwork for the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. For sure, because I wrote about that
stuff
too.
Gets, even though they say stuff doesn't get decided there,
it does.
Stuff gets decided there.
But so Alex Jones, he basically, if you want to watch it, it's all up on YouTube. But he basically witnessed their, like, I guess, opening ceremonies, and it's called the Cremation of Care, and basically in the video you can see this hour-long ritual where they reenact. It almost seems like kind of like a play.
It is.
Or, like, yeah, it's pretty, like, over the top and dramatic. And, like Jordan was saying, it's, like, these people in these long cloaks with, like, hoods. And, like, it seems very,
men in hooded robes, and some carrying torches, and some carrying a wooden coffin, and a skeleton named Care.
Yeah, and it's very, like...
But it
sounds very creepy, but when you watch it, it almost seems kind of silly.
It's just theatrical.
It's like, yeah, it's very theatrical, but it reminds me kind of like of Eyes Wide Shut. Like, it gives you those kind of vibes, but not super creepy. It's more just like, why are you guys doing this? And basically, yeah, at the end of the ritual, they do, like, all these, like, you know, speeches and whatever.
It started in 1880.
Yeah, I think at this point it's kind of just like a tradition, so they do it every year. I don't think
Same thing.
Yeah.
Every year, different theatrical productions costing upwards of $100,000 to put on. Keep going.
Yeah, but basically they finished off the ceremony with the burning of an effigy or, like, a fake skeleton, and it's made to look like a human sacrifice. But the whole meaning of this ceremony and the burning of the skeleton is it's basically supposed to be you're burning away your worries. You're letting loose for the week.
Yeah, it's like playing, like, Bob Marley or something.
Yeah. Which would be a lot simpler and not as creepy if they were just like, let's put on some Bob Marley and jam out, man.
They could play it through the owl.
They could play,
owl has speakers
I forgot
that they
to
play
mention
stuff
that.
through.
So there's, like, this giant...
It's 40 feet.
Okay, yeah, there's this giant 40-foot cement owl statue that's, like, a big part of this opening ceremony.
Yeah, so they do the whole... They walk through the forest in the beginning with their, you know, robes and torches and carrying the coffin, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They walk to the side of the lake, which is watched over by a 40-foot frickin' mascot owl. They then you know, spectators are, you know, watching this whole thing from across in bleachers or whatever. They say bleachers. I didn't see bleachers, but they say bleachers. Then the priests apparently extinguish the torches. Then they start singing a sing-along. And
it's so weird.
The priests tell the members, shake off your sorrows with the city's dust and scatter to the winds the cares of life.
It's just so strange.
The funeral pyre or whatever, is lit. The dull cares of the world are gone and everyone goes back to camp. So it's just very, like, theatrical.
It's super
welcome
theatrical.
to camp.
And,
don't
like,
worry.
Yeah.
And they have like, you know, like fireworks and, like, pyro.
Yeah, let's finish off. Let's pretend to burn a human body, and then we'll finish it off with fireworks. And so Alex Jones claims that he thinks it's like kind of like satanic, and he claims that they were burning a real human body. He's like, you can hear the screams, but it's just like a recording of a voice. It's not actually that sinister. It's just fucking weird.
They're just singing they're singing the song to open it. It's almost like the Olympics.
Yeah, like the opening ceremony.
The opening ceremony. Yeah. They go through a certain thing, they carry torch,
yeah.
Fucking shit happens afterwards.
Exactly. And it's just strange because it's just weird, but I think it's nothing more than a ritual, but it's just like a very weird, odd ritual. Like if you saw that, you would be like, dude, what the fuck are you a part of, man?
But I wouldn't be a part of it. I would be a spectator until I saw something going on that was just morally wrong.
Yeah.
And then I would, my hairs would stand up.
Yeah, and you'd be like, all right, peace.
What the fuck, sign? This is bullshit.
And in Alexis Jones's video too, you can hear like the crowd is like cheering, like they're into it.
Oh God, yeah.
They're like super into it.
Well, yeah, they're paying to be into it.
That's true. They are. So I would hope they would be.
It's like you go to a
It's
game.
so funny though, because it's not even like, it's all these like old dudes. It's like just these old people that you're like, this is just weird.
Some younger people too.
Some younger, but a lot of it is like middle-aged men who are like, and they're like, yeah. And you're like, I just feel like awkward watching it. I'm like, no, man.
The really old guys are like all hyped up on their walkers.
Yeah, and it's just like, this makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable to watch you get excited about this, just because I'm like,
come on, Billy, let's watch Carol
I know,
Burn.
like, don't you have better things to be doing with your life and your money?
I wonder if any fights went on. I wonder if anybody got pissed off.
Dude, I bet that happens. I bet they get like, they have like a fight club.
They have like walker fights.
Walker fights. I mean, supposedly they're all just getting, they claim that they're all just getting super drunk and having a good time. Yeah. So I bet there's some like angry fights going on.
Drugs.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's
taking the
oh my
LSDs.
God, they're definitely smoking marijuana.
Those trees grow weird because these people are doing shit in the woods. Ever notice graveyards? You ever notice the trees in graveyards are oriented?
No. What do you think? It's all the bodies fertilizing the ground?
I mean, you gotta water stuff to make it grow. So, so if you ever dude. If you ever notice in like cemeteries and stuff, like the trees are all like growing weird because of like older bodies that were there. They were put in maybe wooden caskets, and then they start to decompose and leak.
Gross.
Awesome.
You know what's kind of cool though? I don't know if I told you about this.
Probably not.
But I found out about this thing where you can. It's only legal, I think, in like Oregon, maybe. But you can basically, so instead of getting like cremated or buried, you can basically send your body to this company, and they will put your body into like this fertilizer that will decompose it and turn it back into soil. Isn't that really cool? And then basically...
So there's a green way.
Yeah, it's like an environmental friendly way to basically... wow.
Decompress.
Yeah, it's an environmental friendly way to basically take care of your body after you die.
Jesus,
but it's
that was difficult to get through.
That was super difficult, but it's kind of cool because it's like... It's kind of like a beautiful way to think about it, because you could either have, then they send that soil back to the family, but think about it, it's kind of nice, because it's like,
nice and it's
you
funny,
can either put it back into the ground, you can make,
you can
plant
weird?
some flowers in it.
What if you grew veggies?
Oh, that would be a little weird.
I was waiting for
so
that.
So what's your special secret? Oh, well, it's got my grandma's essence.
It's Grammy.
It was actually grown in my grandma. Her soil.
Yeah, she's grown in grandma's soil.
Grown in grandma's soil.
Should be a sticker. But yeah, what's kind of funny? I'm reading through some of this stuff, and I wrote down that in 1986, the club attempted to argue that, quote, male gender is a bona fide occupational qualification. This goes back to the feminists, like saying, "Oh, we want to go, we want to work," but so yeah, it's being male is an occupational qualification, and then the girls got all like pissed off about that, and then when they were like hired, they were put in these low wage positions. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It was just funny, not in like a funny way.
I guess as a female too, it's kind of like,
a,
why would you want to work there?
That's what my question was.
Like, I don't discount the right to be able to work there. I just wouldn't want to unless I was trying to, one, network.
Yeah.
I guess, but you're not really they're not networking with you. They're networking with all the other famous and fucking rich people that are there. Or two, I would do it to get some inside dirt and scoop.
Yeah.
That would be the only reasons why I'd want to work there.
Probably. Yeah, because you're working there and you're seeing stuff.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey, you know what?
And you know what's hilarious though? Is in their kitchen they have like, you can get like custom milkshakes and stuff.
Where? In
like,
the Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, in their like dining hall.
Dude.
Isn't that hilarious?
Custom milkshakes?
Yeah.
I didn't read that.
I didn't read it this time. I read it like a long time ago. And I was like, that's actually pretty hilarious.
You know what? Could be laced. You could be drinking that and just be like, oh, hello, Redwood
This
Forest.
is a custom milkshake.
I was thinking about the song, This Land Is Made For You and Me.
Yeah.
They have Redwood Forest in there.
Yeah.
Bohemian Grove is in a Redwood Forest.
It is.
Earthly Waters, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Look it up. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I forgot about it, remembered it,
What do you think? There's like some link?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's old enough.
You never know. Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
But, so, they do a lot of singing around campfires.
Yeah.
They do a lot of lakeside talks, which is a major part of the retreat.
And
because they talk about heavy topics such as...
And I think that's the sketchiest shit, is the lakeside talks, because they're...
Yeah. Sorry, keep
going. No, you go into it.
Yeah, this was... I was watching a thing that was created by Vanity Fair. I just have to laugh because it's something that I wouldn't normally read.
Yeah.
It was the official itinerary for 2008, which they sing around the campfire, lakeside talks, talked about that. Every day at 12:30 p.m. and over the years, they've been given, what drinks were they given? Gin fizzes. Oh, gin fizzes were poured at 7 a.m. I'm sorry. 7 a.m.
That's early.
And the funniest thing they mentioned was, they peed a lot. So almost every dude there is old.
Yeah.
So they said they probably all just had enlarged prostates.
Ew.
Their prostates were large. They were drinking a lot. They were whizzing all. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
A big thing.
God damn it. Come on, man. This is serious. As I flip to my next page, which is blank.
But the lakeside talks, that's definitely like...
That's a big deal.
It's a really big deal because that's, I think, where... like ideas are planted about basically being the elite of the world, and I think that's where a lot of also political talks happen, and a lot of, I think, maybe not official decisions, but decisions are made.
Well, not everybody is included in those talks.
Yeah.
Only the president, important, not like the artists or whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever's there as a guest or whatever, but like the important people who consider themselves important.
Yeah.
Presidents.
It's kind of weird too that there's a lot of scientists that are members.
Well, you can't really do much with the world without them.
That's true. Scientists are super important. I just think it's interesting that they're, part of it. But not only scientists, it's like, and not just politicians, but business tycoons, oil tycoons. Basically,
people with money.
People with money. Basically, everyone that you think is trying to run the world now, at least in the U.S., because it is U.S. only. It's not an international club. It is strictly for the United States. But basically anyone who you're like, well, they're the decision makers behind everything, are a part of this club. Like every Republican president since 1923 has been a member of this club.
Yeah.
Former CIA directors, representatives for GE and Standard Oil. You were mentioning Harvard. The presidents of Yale and Harvard were both members there. And
yeah, because where do you like I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, where do like they get their funding from? It's like the top 1% in the world. How much money do they have? How much money can they give?
A lot.
How much leverage do they have?
A lot. It's awful. A lot.
But what I was saying about every day at 12:30, there's always someone important scheduled to speak, to have a speech, which is Richard Nixon, the Warner von Braun. They're probably, I mean, you think about Warner von Braun, he's probably thinking science-related stuff, doing his speech, Hoover doing the presidential crap.
Yeah.
So all these people are like, Neil Armstrong giving a speech to the Bohemian Grove about...
Neil Armstrong claims that he saw, I'm pretty sure he claims he saw aliens when he was on the moon. Isn't that a thing? Maybe not. He claims he believes in aliens. I feel like I'm totally making shit up right now.
I want to believe that he saw stuff.
I'm pretty sure he did. I don't know if he's ever said exactly what, but I know he said he believes in aliens.
And I thought the Bohemian Grove was exciting.
And I'm pretty sure he said that he saw some shit on the moon.
Is that Batman or Twilight Zone?
That was Twilight Zone.
Good.
Batman is like Batman.
Okay, yeah, I was talking about Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but yeah. So Lakeside Talks, Manhattan Project. It wasn't a Lakeside Talk.
I didn't look up the Manhattan. I didn't look up the Manhattan.
I didn't really look it up much either, but I just know that the yeah, so maybe we should look it up. But basically, the scientist who was responsible for the nuclear bomb was, or the atom bomb. Is it the atom bomb? I think it's the same thing, isn't
hydrogen.
It? The hydrogen. Isn't that all the same thing?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Edward Teller.
I think
father of the hydrogen bomb, and the Bob, the hydrogen bomb.
Hold on, let's see what this says.
Only one there. Oh, so apparently that Edward Teller guy, the father of the hydrogen bomb, was the only one there at that time. A lot of these, some of these guys went there in the off season.
Yeah, because they can reserve.
They can use it and do what they want to do, either with their families or whatever. I mean, the Bohemian Grove, what goes on here, the ceremonies, the poems, the sing-alongs. That's during a specific 2-week thing. Throughout the year, they can rent out, or based off of their membership, they can go with their family and do what they do. It's kind of weird though.
Yeah.
Going there with your family and doing whatever you want, knowing that you're there during that 2-week period, maybe, and people are doing weird shit.
I know.
It's just awkward.
Why would you want to bring your family there?
You wouldn't.
Exactly.
Or would you?
But yeah, I forgot.
Some of these people
alone there.
Yeah,
well, that's what they claim.
That's what they claim. He was alone, but
thinking basically.
Or was he?
Or basically thinking about it and coming up with the idea. But then there's other reports that say that there was a meeting about the Manhattan Project at Bohemian Grove I'm pretty sure Nixon was president at the time, right?
Sure.
I think.
Let's go with yes.
I think so. Oh my gosh, I feel like I should know this. But I'm pretty sure.
She's researching.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up.
There was a guy from Spy magazine in 1989 who snuck in. His name was Philip Weiss. And apparently he said it was pageantry, theater, and cross-dressing. I'm serious.
I believe you.
Well, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to our fans, the people who watch this and we appreciate. But he also said there was a performance called the Low Jinks which is about 75 grand to put on. And he said that the humor was not just lame, but circa 1950s college follies lame. It's like, you ever watch like sports follies, like bloopers? Follies is another word for like bloopers. Theater is a huge deal, and then they had another performance of the hijinks or the Grove play, and they just had they spoke up hundreds of poems like throughout the 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they have like one play that's kind of like
Jack London,
like really like lowbrow comedy, and then they have
low jinks.
Yeah, like basically
hijinks.
Like
it's like you're up to hijinks, like you're doing something.
Yeah, but like one play is basically like really like goofy, stupid comedy, and then the other play is more like intellectual.
Yes.
So this here doesn't say that Nixon was there, but I'm almost positive. In other stuff I've seen, whoever was president at the time of the Manhattan Project and stuff, I know in past researching of the Bohemian Grove, I remember reading and hearing about whoever was the president at the time was part of that meeting. Maybe it wasn't Nixon, maybe it was Eisenhower. I'm not 100% sure. But basically, the meeting for the Manhattan Project, this guy claims he was there by himself, but then there's other things that claim that it was, that the meeting was attended by Ernest Lawrence, who was a nuclear scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was a physicist, the S1 Executive Committee, like basically a bunch of fucking scientists, the presidents of Harvard and Yale,
and if you're curious,
representatives of Standard Oil and GE.
We are getting this info from Bohemian Grove on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Which
I hope it's legit.
May or may not be credible.
It may or may not be credible,
but that's the beauty of it all.
When I've researched because I've researched Bohemian Grove, like, not just now, like, in the past and stuff, like, when I watched that Alex Jones video, like, I was doing a lot of research on Bohemian Grove, not just, like, on Wikipedia, on other stuff. This is just the easiest website for me to pull
That's why
quickly.
when Chris pointed out, like, hey, you stupid, and I'm like, dude.
But, I remember hearing about the Manhattan Project and the atom bomb, with basically anything I researched on Bohemian Grove. And I remember researching, and it wasn't just that one guy. But who really, I mean, we don't really know.
No.
So according to Bohemian Grove, it was just him on the compound alone, kind of just thinking about it, not like meeting with people and making the decision
He was
to
on
do
walkabout.
this. Yeah.
For the bombs.
But who really knows?
I sure as hell don't.
I know.
Just going off what
I was going to say something else too, not related to that, and now I forget.
Do you know of Jack London?
The name's super familiar.
Really? Because he apparently wrote a specific piece for hijinks, but it was never staged.
Oh.
Yeah. Just fun fact.
This is what I was going to say. Was when I was mentioned to people that we were doing an episode on Bohemian Grove, I was actually surprised at how many people had never heard of it. Because for me, it's been something
That's the beautiful thing.
I know, but for me, it's something that, like, ever since I got into, like, really researching conspiracies, which for me was, I would say, really, like, 2012-ish, 2013, I got really into researching MK Ultra, and it just kind of spiraled.
I've been reading some stuff about.
Yeah, I definitely want to do an MK Ultra episode. I just need to, like, revisit it, and I want to spend a lot of time researching it to give, like, a very clear episode on it.
I feel like in my note, I need to look. I feel like in my notes, I wrote down about somebody who was at Bohemian Grove who was part of something going on there that had to deal with mental overtaking or they were doing something that was like MK
like
Ultra-ish.
brainwashing and stuff.
I
wouldn't be surprised.
My notes are kind of scattered, so
that's all right. I mean, yeah, I was pretty shocked at how many people had never heard of it, because for me it's something that, like, I've known about for maybe 6, 7, It's 2019, yes, like 7 years, and I just always kind of thought it was like kind of like this common knowledge thing that people, not that anyone knows the inner workings, but I thought it was common knowledge to know of it.
You know what the Bohemian Grove is?
But it's really not.
Do you know what it really is?
What?
It's nothing more than a Republican Disneyland. A Republican Disneyland.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think the main issue with Bohemian Grove is all the secrecy around it. Mm-hmm. Because maybe it's nothing. And to me, it almost kind of sounds like maybe it's not. It just kind of sounds like this overnight camp where they can just kind of fuck around, act like tools.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. And because it's all these people that are constantly under a microscope 24/7. They don't really get the chance to just let loose and be free.
Can you see with all of that pressure, them doing this, being like, oh, dude, I totally, I need this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure they're under a lot of pressure. They're also...
hear with this.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if for the most part that's what it is. But I also think because of how secret it is and how private it is, that maybe not everyone's partaking in sinister or hidden agenda kind of things.
No,
but I'm sure there are definitely, I'm sure there are definitely secret meetings there and talks there that shouldn't be held in such closed doors. But it's such a good place for it to be done because of how private and secret it is.
Absolutely. I think I might have it on my phone. I don't really think if I come out of this,
I think it'll still record
and go into my pictures.
Oh, I think it stopped.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh wait, maybe it didn't?
No, it's still going.
Oh, okay. Is it, or is it paused?
No, it's still going.
Okay, cool.
Here, I'm gonna look and see if I can find it while you talk about something else.
I mean, I feel like I don't really have much else to... Yeah, I mean, I feel like for an overview, the thing with Bohemian Grove is it's so secret that unless we were to literally go into, their constitution of rules and, really go into every little detail, it's... I mean, we kind of covered most of it. There's not really ever going to be that much information about it because of how private and secret it is. I'm surprised people even know about the whole Manhattan Project thing. I have no clue how that even got out,
Yeah, I don't either.
It's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. It's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
The Grove, did you mention 118 encampments?
No. Encampments? Encampments.
Sorry. Incompetence mixed with encampments. 118, where the power structure is divvied up by territory.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's separated, they have different, basically not compounds, but different campsites within the campgrounds where...
There's a for instance here.
For instance, what's
For instance, only U.S. presidents and military brass are allowed to stay at the Owl's Nest.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of their talks.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so they kind of organize the campground, I think, by your status and your profession, basically. And, but you're allowed to go, so that's just where you, sleep at night. And I know, that's alright.
No, Lost Angels, yeah.
Lost Angels,
banking,
okay, so
defense, contractors, and media.
And then Caveman is
the
oil companies, universities, media. Hillbillies is big business, banking, and politics. I know Hillbillies is where the Bushes always stay. And then Stowaway is the Rockefeller family and oil companies. Isle of Abs is military defense. Silverado Squatters is big business defense contractors.
These are all screenshots I took because I got tired of writing.
But so the campground is broken up into different campsites, and but you're allowed to go and visit people at other campsites. It's not like you're restricted to just that one. That's basically just your bunk where you're sleeping, and it is very much like a campground. They're cabins. I don't think it's anything fancy. I'm sure it's not super run down, but it's nothing I don't even think it's glamping. I think it's actual, they're like trying to make it pretty legit camping.
I found it.
What is this?
Kathy O'Brien. She was part of Project Monarch,
Oh, I
Mind
know.
Control, Sex Slave.
We'll get into that another day. Yeah, because I've read all about Kathy O'Brien. I've done so much research on this chick, but I don't know if she's legit or not, or if she's a government plant. Oh my god, I could literally go off on a whole other tangent about Kathy O'Brien.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Dude, there's like, I've told Jordan this, and CJ, knows about this. So when I went into my MK Ultra deep dive, this was before, I think I mentioned on here before, but this was before conspiracy theory videos were a thing on YouTube. So like the only MK Ultra videos were like videos of like Britney Spears losing her mind and like other celebrities losing her mind. So I was doing research, like deep diving. You know how you're always like, I go like 3 to 4 pages like into Google. Yeah. So this was me. I was in like some like random ass websites, like not just like Wikipedia or Reddit. I was in like some deep websites where like this stuff was like really talked about in depth. I did probably like 2 months of research where I was looking at all of this stuff like every single day. I wasn't working, when I was home, after work, in between work. So this was when CJ and I were both working at the movie theater, and I told everyone at the theater about it. I was like, you need to research this. Your mind is gonna explode. Yeah. I was like, this is what we're dealing with, people. Absolutely. No one believed me. No one wanted to research it. And they even went to CJ and were like, is she okay? Yeah. Like, I think, like, they're like, she's, like, really reading into this. That's the one thing we have in common. Because when I talk to people about this shit, I'm like, no, I'm fine. Yeah. You just need to educate yourself. Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it was funny because one time, the one holiday, I don't know what it was, but there was a holiday where I mentioned that to you. I was like, oh, what about, like, MK Ultra? I don't really know much. And I was probably like it was like, you know. I have told so many people about MK Ultra, and now a lot of people. Like a pinball machine. Dude, now a lot of people know about it because it's like a big, you know, a lot of conspiracy theorists cover it. But like at the time that I was researching it, no one I talked about had ever heard about it, I think, except for one other person. And they were like, they were into talking about it with me, and because they like also looked it up themselves, and they were like, this is crazy and all this stuff. But other than that, not a single person I had talked to had ever heard about it. But now I know, like, if I ever mention it to people, they're like, oh my god, yeah, it's so crazy. It is. And I'm like, where were you? It's crazy, like 5 years ago? She talks about her experience there. Yeah. At the Grove. But, at the Grove? She was at the Bohemian Grove. Oh, okay. So I haven't read about, I don't think I've read about this with her. I read about. That was like my little punchline. I've read about her with, like, she was at the Grove. Yeah, I don't know if I read that. Basically, Monarch, I read about all of her stuff. Sex Slave about the Grove. Yeah, I read about all of her stuff with basically her deprogramming, escaping, and, like, her getting, like, into it and stuff as, like, a younger It says, among these international scandalous tapes are numerous videos covertly produced at the supposedly secure political sex playground in the Northern California Bohemian Grove. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, too, if they use Bohemian Grove to basically, like, get things to blackmail people with. According to Houston, Dante's high-tech, undetectable cameras use fiber optics and fisheye lenses were in each of the elite club's numerous sexual perversion-themed rooms. She says, my knowledge of these cameras was due to the strategically compromising positions of the political perpetrators I was prostituted to in the various kinky-themed rooms. Yeah. So this is all according to this chick. According to this girl, who apparently not only worked there, but was also... She was like an MK... Well, she claims to be like an MK Ultra victim. Yeah. But I've read about things too where they discredit her and claim that she was... Because there's also... The thing with conspiracy theories and when you research is you've got to be really careful because the government knows people are researching these things. Absolutely. They know they're looking into it. So sometimes what some people claim is that certain things or certain people are basically plants by the government to like make you think this one thing, and yeah, that sounds horrible, but it's basically to distract you
Well,
from
it's
what's
like-
really going on. They're like, oh, just think of it as like, we're not talking about like actual political stuff or wars or like basically how to control the human population. We're just doing like weird sex shit.
Well, it's like weird
And
sex shit.
so
It was like
yeah,
Bob
that's
Lazar.
still not great, but at the same time, it's like they would probably rather have you think that than have you know what's actually going on.
Yeah, it's like a diversion.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Bob Lazar, the Area 51, check it out. He spoke about the paperwork and some of the stuff they threw in. He was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like to throw you off of the beaten path.
Yeah, it's like throw this information out
This
there
is
to
what you
make you
need to
focus
know.
on this versus the actual
So
thing that's
I
happening.
would think that's a pretty, good diversion. Because this stuff is all happening. This chick is talking about whether it happened or not.
And it's
whether
like
the cameras
interesting
were
to
there
read
or
about
not.
too, because you're like, oh
Absolutely.
my god, like this weird like sex shit, and like what are these people up to, and MK Ultra and mind control and stuff, and like, which I think MK Ultra is totally real, and like, and this chick could be even real, but I've read some stuff where it's like claiming that Kathy O'Brien is like a government plant.
Maybe.
But you'll never actually know. That's the thing that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
I just want
bananas.
to know. I want to know all the
Yeah,
information.
apparently she was programmed and equipped to function in all of the rooms at Bohemian Grove in order to compromise specific government targets according to their personal
Which
perversions.
could be totally true too.
So she was kind of like one of those people who was like, okay, I'm down with this.
Yeah.
I'm down to do this stuff in order to get like information.
Yeah.
Because everybody's wasted.
Or to get it on like videotape, so then like
videotape it.
they can blackmail you into, say it's a politician,
Absolutely.
and these like oil tycoons want you to pass some sort of bill or do something for them. They'll record you doing this like crazy thing, and then they'll use it as
against you.
blackmail on you and be like, well, if you don't do what we ask you to do, we're just gonna release this video.
Yeah, so apparently anything goes, anytime, anywhere, with anyone was her mode of operation at the Grove.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just crazy shit happening, and it's so interesting.
I know.
Just crazy shit happening, and I want to believe what people say,
Yeah.
but on the other side, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And then I hear about, like, these, like, thousands of poems and theatrics
Crazy.
and money, and, like, it's just like, dude, wow.
Like, what's really going on, guys?
God, that is an exhausting vacation.
Right? Right? It's like,
Dude.
what, do you even want to go on vacation there? There's so much going on.
You go for, like 3 days.
I know. Like, don't
Recover
you want to just,
next-
like, chill by the pool or something?
Yeah, have some long talks.
Yeah.
With the big guys. And with the 1%.
Apparently, like, drinking 24/7.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nonstop, nonstop. But yeah, that's why they're there. How do they get all the booze there? Just
They just
truck
buy
it.
it. Yeah, I mean, they buy it and then truck it in.
Or maybe they
It's like how they get food there.
maybe like fly something over them. And just
I don't know if that would be very smart
palate-
for booze.
palette of Coors Light. Well,
Oh
why?
my god.
It would just
Because if it was glass bottles, it would shatter.
parachutes.
I don't think it's not gonna slow it down that much. Good thought, but I don't think so.
Yes.
I'm sure they just, ship it in.
I wanted my idea to work. I'm gonna be.
You should try it. Why don't you send them a carton of booze, get it like helicoptered in?
Yeah.
Be like, with love from Jordan. On that note,
multiple
I mean,
accounts of love on that one.
I don't really have much more to say, do you?
I mean, it's a really interesting place, and so much goes on.
Let's sneak there. Let's sneak onto the compound.
I talked to Amy about that.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, I want we got to set up a Patreon
Yeah.
to fund our camera and our audio and
Yeah.
maybe even
And our secret covert missions.
Dum dum dum. Where are we going?
Where are we going next?
But yeah, I would like to visit haunted places. I'd like to
Yes,
visit
that's what
not
we
only
really want to
this,
do.
but,
We're hoping to eventually be able to do more paranormal stuff, but where we could actually like go to like a haunted house, stay the night, film it, you know,
maybe
whatever.
that's what we should. Maybe that's our next.
Be really cool.
Our next podcast.
Yeah, maybe we should do something paranormal
related.
Yeah, because we've done a few conspiracy theory ones.
We need more like abnormal entities.
Yeah, we should do a paranormal. We'll have to look up some sort of like, I don't know. We'll look up something.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But hey, you know what? We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the Bohemian Grove. The beginnings, the middles, and well, the continuation.
Yeah, of it. But please make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
And follow us on Instagram at Spill the Beans Podcast.
And please comment.
Yeah, please give us comments if there's episodes, not episodes, but if there's topics that you would like us to cover. We definitely want to hear from you guys. It helps to give us like some pretty good ideas. And it's recording, right?
No, I know it's recording.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying like.
I was like, oh no. But also, I am tomorrow gonna try to get us up on Apple Podcasts. So if I figure that out, we will let you guys know, and that way if you're not super into watching the videos, you can listen to us. Yeah, and please tell your friends about this. If you have like people that are interested in this kind of stuff as well, spread the word.
Spread the beans.
Spread the beans. Spill the beans.
Spill them all.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for watching, listening, and paying attention to us.
Yep. And we will see you guys in
next time.
The next one.
Bye.
Bye.